Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Urban Update. I'm Byron Barnett. On the show today, a magical journey to shepherd in the birth of the newborn king through African dance, ballet, and gospel music as we fill you in on a play coming up this holiday season. Also, information on an interesting competition taking place this week to aid people with intellectual disability and autism, with finalists vying for funding of up to $200,000. More on that in just a little bit. But up first, the Boston Red Sox made history when they named Alex Cora as the 47th manager in team history and the first field manager of color. Cora, who is Puerto Rican and only the third Latino manager in the majors next season, held a press conference this past week at Fenway Park where he outlined his vision on how he will try to bring another World Series championship to this city. He also brought along a Puerto Rican flag as a gift to the Red Sox in response to the team's generosity in contributing a private plane full of needed items for the Hurricane Maria relief funds aiding Puerto Rico. Here to discuss the significance of this moment in Boston sports history is Yuri Berenguer, the voice in Spanish of the Red Sox Spanish broadcasts, and Boston Herald Red Sox beat reporter Michael Silverman, who wrote an interesting piece in last Sunday's paper on this very topic. Welcome to Urban Update, gentlemen. Thanks for coming in. Michael, Yuri, let me start with you. How excited are you? How big a deal is this? Having Alex Cora, the first Latino manager to ever be a manager of the Red Sox, and does it mean you're probably going to be getting some good interviews in Spanish for your Spanish listeners?
You know, I hope so, Byron. First of all, thank you for having me, and yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, this is a very big deal. It's a very big deal for the Latino community. It's a very big deal for for all minorities in the city of Boston, in baseball as a whole. And yes, I absolutely do hope it turns out to be helpful in having a lot more or many more interviews with the manager during the season. It's something that we weren't able to do frequently in the past. You know, we got to talk to John Farrell pretty regularly off the air, interviewed him maybe 3 or 4 times a year during the baseball season, because as you may know, it's an interview, a 5-minute interview, when you have to translate it, will turn out to be a 10-minute interview. Right. And in the day of a manager, that's a lot of time. Yeah,
and a new way to connect, I think, with viewers as well.
A new way, absolutely a new way, and a much easier way. They can absolutely relate to him much more.
Now, Michael, you wrote about the significance in a recent article saying that Cora is the right man at the right time. Can you sort of tell me about, elaborate on that for our viewers a little bit?
Well, first of all, he's a great baseball pick. I mean, he's a perfectly logical choice for the Red Sox to have as a manager. He's young, he communicates well, he knows baseball inside and out, he's a baseball lifer. And that's what the Red Sox need. And the fact that he is a minority, I mean, that just, the icing on top of this, the cherry on top. And, for this city, for this franchise, that's very, very important. We all know the history of Pumpsie Green here and the Yawkey legacy, mixed as it is. And I think it was an important move for the franchise to do this. So, yeah.
The Red Sox, they were very clear, were they not, that they felt this was simply the best fit?
Yes, they were very, they didn't even, John Henry had an opportunity to say whether this was significant or not. He said, no, this is just the right baseball choice. And Sam Kennedy, also the president and CEO of the Red Sox, was quite clear. Look, this is the right guy at the right time, as we were just saying. He's a good baseball mind. He's young, all these reasons. And, oh, yeah, it is. We know about our franchise's history, so this is a good move in that respect, but it really gets back to baseball.
And it doesn't hurt that he just won a World Series, too.
Exactly.
Yuri, what in your mind are some of the attributes that you think Alex Cora brings to the table that make him a good manager for the Sox?
I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what Michael just said. He is the right fit for several reasons. I mean, he's an easy guy to talk to. He's a great communicator. He's a very likable guy. But like Michael said, he's a baseball lifer. This is a guy who loves baseball, who has lived and died baseball since he was a kid. He's run the baseball league in Puerto Rico. He put the World Baseball Classic, or the Puerto Rican team for the World Baseball Classic. He put that team together. Bench coach, obviously, for A.J. Hinch and the Houston Astros. This is a baseball guy, but his youth. I think that being a young guy, being a young manager, somebody who's going to just help him, I guess, communicate or relate a lot to a team that's whose core is a very young core. You know, we're talking about Jackie Bradley Jr., Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts, guys who are all 27 and under. Having a young manager who can relate to them a little bit more, perhaps, and like he said, he wants to, in so many words, he said he wants to make baseball fun again at Fenway Park.
What about the, I guess, what do you think this means for the Latino community, and especially the Puerto Rican community? And I don't know, what kind of reaction have you been getting?
It's huge. It's huge. I mean, thankfully, social media gives you a lot of feedback, and immediately, you know, I've been bombarded. You know, Facebook, on Twitter. I mean, my Puerto Rican friends, phone calls all the time. Everybody's excited. I mean, I think it's just as big for the Red Sox and the Puerto Rican Red Sox fans to have Alex Cora named manager as it was for the city of Houston to see their Houston Astros win the World Series. I think it's just as significant. I mean, he may be the biggest Puerto Rican athlete right now since Felix Tito Trinidad, you know, when we're talking about 10, 15 years ago. Alex Cora is a very big deal right now.
Now, Michael, talk to me about, I guess, the response that you got from your piece last Sunday. Was it a little bit different than that?
Well,
in some aspects.
yeah, I mean, like Yuri said, you know, social media is, you can take it or leave it and make a little too much about it. I got a very mixed reaction. A lot of people, I kind of, you know, promoted my article on Twitter like we all do, and said, you know, this is something to celebrate. I mean, I'm not pointing out that he was hired because he was a minority, but you might as well celebrate. This is the Red Sox, this is Boston, we all know what that means. A lot of people like, yeah, go right on, we get it. And then some people were like Michael, why is this a big deal? Why are we even discussing this? I didn't even know he's a minority. Why is this important? Why are you even pointing this out? To me, those are the same people who probably didn't believe that Adam Jones heard what he did from the stands of Fenway earlier this summer. I think it's a lot of people who don't understand the importance of having the race, discussing race and racism in Boston. It's not a bad thing. It's good, it's healthy, it's the right way to approach it versus ignoring it. Now look, I don't plan to bring up Alex Cora's heritage, ethnicity, maybe not ever again, but I think at this moment it's good and it's right to celebrate it.
The win-loss record is what's going to count the most, obviously.
Exactly, right. This is sports, this is Boston.
Okay, that is Boston, that's right. And Yuri, talk to me about when, I guess, Alex Cora pulled out the Puerto Rican flag at his press conference. How cool was that? I guess we're used to seeing the Dominican flag a little bit there, but this Puerto Rican flag is a new one.
Again, I don't mean to be so repetitive, but that was huge. You know, it was definitely a historic moment. I mean, it's never been done before. You know, simple as that in Boston, and that's a picture. Who, again, to go back to the whole social media thing, I guess it's the best measuring stick we have. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. I mean, I got a phone call minutes later from Alex Santiago, who is Jose Santiago, former Red Sox pitcher's son, and he's ecstatic, and he uses it as his profile picture right now on Facebook. You know, it was a very big moment. It was a very emotional moment, and for Puerto Rico, the island of Puerto Rico, who is still devastated, that's still going through such difficult times, recovering from Hurricane Maria. This is a time that will live in lore and for the rest of their lives.
Michael, what do you think? Is this a sign of things to come, more Latino field managers in the future?
Well, I can only hope so. I mean, I believe Latinos somewhere in the 35% of all major leaguers right now, and I think we only have 3 or 4 Latino managers. So obviously the percentage does not reflect the reality. I mean, I think there are plenty of strong candidates, and there have been more Latino managers than there are right now. So Major League Baseball has a long way to go. You have to hope that maybe it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but eventually it'll more reflect the diversity in the game itself.
And the team, the Red Sox, what are they, like more than half, or a large percentage are players of color. So that has got to be a positive for them, don't you think?
I think so.
Or I don't know if not for them, but for the team to have someone who can relate to players in a different way.
I believe so. I mean, it's not to say that John Farrell didn't relate to them, not to say that John Farrell didn't have a good relationship with them, but having a new face in there, having absolutely a different face, a guy who I think I want to go back to. Not that I want to stay away from the diversity thing, but I want to go back to the fun thing. I think it was very important. I think it was one of the focal points of Alex Cora's press conference. He wants to be part of a team chemistry that has fun playing baseball. Michael, you said it before the interview before we went on. You said the Astros seemed like they were having a blast. They were. They were having a blast. Let's not forget, baseball is supposed to be fun. I always tell my kids, you know what? If you're not having fun, don't play baseball.
What do you think about that?
Well, I totally agree, and I do think that it's very important the core connects to the young core. And you look at Mookie Betts, the outfielders with their mantra yoga thing. Everything is it's fun. The dance, the smiling. Mookie says, "I want to have fun out there," and I think I'd say there's some veterans that are a little more uptight than some of the young guys, and I think core is going to connect to them, and that's good for baseball. They want to grow the game. You're going to have to appeal to young fans, and if they see grumpy young players, that's a bad thing.
Okay, all right, and I guess we'll leave it right there. Michael Silverman, Yuri Berenguer, thanks for coming in, and go Sox. Let's see what happens next season. Can't wait. Okay, coming up, pitching creative concepts that help people with intellectual disability and autism. All the details and just a few right here on Urban Update.